Hey race fans, welcome to another season of Backseat Drivers. Man, oh man, it is good to say that. And we've missed you guys. We're getting kicked off for the race season here in the 2022 season, and the Daytona 500 is on deck. I have two of my favorite people here in the backseat. We have the resident analyst, Dylan Mamba Smith over here, and from NBC Sports, Steve Letarte. They're going to bring you all of the hot takes. We're going to get you up to speed on everything you need to know leading up to this season and before the green flag flies in Daytona. Welcome back, guys. Happy race season.
Feels good. Feels good to be in studio. Exciting to get the NASCAR. Is it officially kicked off? And we've already had the Clash. Yeah. We saw the Rolex. But there's something about the 500. This is a big week. I'm amped up, ready to go.
Speed Weeks is my favorite week of the year. There's so much racing going on in Daytona, and it's the 500, man. You got to be excited about the 500.
All right, well, we are excited, but one guy who may not be excited for this question and how I'm starting the show off, I'm really sorry, Denny Hamlin, but we're going to start it again this season. The inevitable question that always gets posed when you mention Denny Hamlin. Is he going to get a championship? Is this the year? Is 2022, Steve, the year that Denny's crowned?
So it's unfortunate to say, but I think the answer for Denny Hamlin is no. This isn't the year for a championship, only because he has yet to win one as an owner. He now has two cars. The distractions are bigger. He may prove me wrong. I hope he does. He deserves a championship. He has the resume that says he could be and should be a champion. But, you know, in the end, you have to actually go out and do it. He's been unable to do it, and this is just such a difficult format. Mamba, I just don't see how you can, at this point, say anyone is going to win the championship. It's hard enough to pick who's going to be in the championship for.
I do not agree with Steve most of the time, but on this one, I will agree with Steve. It's hard. Like he's a winner, and he wins week in and week out a lot, but to be a champion is a whole nother level, and we haven't seen it, and he's been so close, and to your point, I'd love to see him get that, because he is deserving of that. So is Mark Martin. Mark never got his either. That's not a negative on his resume. He just doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. So in being an owner, more distractions, as you said, you're worried about not just one car, but now three cars. It's a lot going on for Denny.
How much does being an owner change? I know, Steve, you mentioned about Denny and just seeing him on the golf course, how limited his time is just with extracurricular activities, but what does it change in the mindset?
Well, I think the simple thing is you can't say, hey, he's an owner and give him the credit, which he deserves for building an organization, and not expect it to take some of his time. Those go hand in hand. Right. So the question is, will he be a more efficient owner in year two because he now knows how to manage his time, or will two cars double his distraction? I don't think any of us know. I'm not even sure he knows at this point.
All right, well, we'll see if the 11 can get it done, and this will be the season that we all stop asking that question, but it may not be. All right, well, the team to beat in 2021 was the Hendrick Motorsports, and specifically the 5 of Kyle Larson, but I'm going to pose the question to you guys for just organization. Let's go as a whole. Who will be the team to beat in 2022, Mamba?
The team to beat, I think we got to stay with Hendrick if it's the team to beat as an organization. But I will bring up the 18 car of Kyle Busch as a singular car to watch out for all year long. I think he's in a different space. I think he's going to be really good.
Listen, the math doesn't lie. If you're going to have to pick an organization until somebody can knock Hendrick Motorsports off the top pedestal, they're back-to-back champions as an organization, and I actually believe that William Byron's going to have a great year. Larson, Chase Elliott, Bowman. I mean, pick the weakness. I'm having a hard time finding one for that reason. They're the organization to beat.
All right, HMS looking like another team in 2022 to get it done. It would be the 3rd championship in a row if they won the championship. Yes?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that was pretty simple.
They've done that before.
Yeah,
that's fine.
This next question, I know I'm going to get the comeback either from one of these two mouths that are sitting next to me. But the breakout season, which driver's going to have a breakout season? I know the question is going to be, well, what's a breakout season? Define a breakout season. So, Steve, what driver has a breakout season?
Well, I have a lot of names down here, and I've scribbled them all out because I've changed my answer a few times, but I think it's William Byron. I think he's the guy that's going to really exceed expectation. A breakout season is basically what do you expect, and do they overperform? I think William Byron will do that. We saw him continue to improve every year, almost every week. He made the playoffs last year. I think that's just information that he's learned. This will be his 2nd year with his crew chief. Hard to believe because they seemed like Rudy Fugle and him had been together forever last year. I just think William Byron, new car, a lot of unknowns. I think youth helps him because he just doesn't have any bad habits. He's just going to go out there and drive. William Byron is the guy that I think is going to win and win multiple times in 2022. Right? Make sure I get it right. There's a lot. Listen, like the last couple of years have blended. So
kind of a black hole.
Yeah.
We did say that William Byron last season at the start of the playoffs was Mr. Consistency, so I don't hate the pick. Mamba, who you got?
I don't hate the pick, but I'm going with the 8 car of Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, 2-time Xfinity champ, back-to-back seasons. He did it. He made the step up. RCR obviously got better once he did that, and I think he's ready to win in the Cup Series. He's been close, whether it's road courses, super speedways, mile and a halves. He's been there, just hasn't finished it off, and I'm expecting multiple wins from Tyler Reddick this year.
Reddick really lit the fire there for RCR last season. Might have helped Austin Dillon propel into the playoffs, how strong that camp got. Well, speaking of light a fire, Kyle Larson had the full flame in 2021. He had the most wins out of the whole entire NASCAR Cup Series. But who gets the most wins in 2022? You going with the 5, Steve?
Well, it's a Kyle for sure. It's between Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson. I think it's a coin flip. I'm going with Kyle Larson. He wins in everything he gets in. I think unless somebody finds some sort of kryptonite for what he pulled off last year, I think he's the guy that's going to have to be beaten again. I think he's going to win multiple times. I don't think he's going to get to 10. Everybody wants to give him 10. I know you're a big fan of double-digit wins, but I do think it's going to be a lot, though. I think he's going to be a dominant driver, well over 5, somewhere 6, 7, 8 wins in the year.
I just have a hard time going against that because we don't know. And what I do know is that Kyle Larson wins often and a lot in everything. So if I'm going to go against it, it would be the other Kyle, which is Kyle Busch, who usually wins a lot and often in almost everything as well. So I'm going to go Kyle Larson because that's what I know. And without knowing anything about the car, I'm going to go with the driver.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see. I think Daytona will present another wild card as well. We won't really know what we're working with until we get to that West Coast swing. Well, Steve and I broke down at the Next Gen test in Daytona. These cars now have a rear view mirror, so they can see this.
Is it really a mirror?
Digital.
It's like a rear view camera.
Rear view camera. Whatever. In the back seat, we're going to call it a mirror check because I can. So in the rear view mirror, let's talk about the clash at the Coliseum. The Busch Light clash was epic. If you weren't there, if you missed it, man, you missed out on such a fun and exciting weekend for NASCAR. It was great to bring it to Los Angeles, right in the heart of the city. Mamba, you were there. We partied it up on the rooftop. What'd you think of the clash?
It was awesome. This is for all the people that were like, oh, we're dumb for doing it. It'll never work. It was a must-see event. You had to be there. I'm telling you right now, and I'll take your apologies on behalf of all my friends here at the NASCAR studios. You're welcome for the awesome event that it was. It was great. I know you guys were both there, and I think that the work that went in to it showed. The product was amazing. The vibe was on a whole nother level. We had Ice Cube and Pitbull. I was waiting for a Pitbull concert all last year. Didn't really get it, and then we started it with this year, and then I had Ice Cube. I also, real quick, want to throw out a point. Everyone was like, oh, we're spending so much money doing this Clash thing. I looked up how much a 30-second commercial for the Super Bowl was. It's over $6 million. We did just fine for a full event. It was amazing.
Yeah, listen, I have to agree. I think when I look at what happened at the Clash, it was a great event, which is important. But for me, more importantly, it was a great NASCAR race. And I love the idea of an event. I think that's what gets the fans on site in today's world is why are you going? You got to have a great sporting event, but you got to have more things there. But I'll go as far as to say it was so good, it doesn't have to be an exhibition. Put it in the points. And move it anywhere you want to go. Look, here's my opinion. Change is required in everything we do in life to keep our attention. I had a lot of negative thoughts of what could go wrong, and I'm glad the leadership in NASCAR and the team said, you know what, we're going to go try it. It was so smooth. We don't have to add events. It doesn't have to be exhibition. Line them up. We have 26 regular season races. When you miss the playoffs, don't go, oh, it was the race in the Coliseum that did it. I'm not buying that. You could give points in the heats, whatever. I love the format. I loved everything about it, and I love what opportunity it may create to go other places, to find other fan bases. It's going to be fun. I'm all in. Ben
Kennedy and the leadership here at NASCAR have talked about taking it elsewhere. Dream location. Steve, you want to go to Aruba, Bahamas? Where are we going with it?
So I actually think the key is to go where the fan base, you can't go where it's convenient or where it's comfortable. Right. You need to go where the fan base is. So I would say, hey, find a group of international fans that love NASCAR, that support NASCAR, that over the last 2 years because of the pandemic.
I heard the right word. International.
Well, listen, my point is over the pandemic, we all have made sacrifices, but the international fan base hasn't been able to get in and out of the States. It's been crazy. So you know me, I'm a Maine guy. Used to run the American Canadian Tour. Let's go up
My
to
man.
Canada somewhere. We go. There's some good short tracks up there. Quebec's a great city. We could go down to Mexico. We go over to Europe. I have a passport. We'll travel. I'm good. I'm ready.
I do love maple syrup. Where are we going, eh?
Well, that would be Vermont, is the maple syrup capital of, and don't at me, that's what we do. We're going overseas, man. Let's go. But also, even in-state, right? Even in the States. We can just go to Chicago, literally to Soldier Field. We can go to Lambeau, because I just need 120 yards.
So
That's
February
it.
in Lambeau.
That's not in February. That's a little much. But my point is, we can go anywhere. Wimbledon, I think Wimbledon would be really cool.
I think the stadium wasn't as important to me, the fact that it was a temporary racetrack.
Right.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Like when
100%.
we watch
If
like
you
the
build
karting
it,
worlds or in a
we will
parking
go.
lot in Las Vegas, you can go kind of wherever. I know it's going to show my age. I went to Japan back in the 90s a couple times. The fans were just outstanding. So I think this just gives us that opportunity again.
Love it.
All right, well, it was pretty cool to see those stock cars underneath the Hollywood sign. That's all I'm going to say. Downtown LA, you put on quite the show. Hopefully we'll be back. This next part is going to be a little tricky for all of us because I'm going to show my cheat card here. All of us have it. We wrote them down because they asked us to do all 16 early playoff driver predictions. And we got to about 13, then all of us just started passing.
I was really like at 11. I was like, guys, I am struggling here.
All right, so let's hit on some of the high notes. I know all of us have talked about having all 4 Hendrick cars into the playoffs. Nobody disagrees?
No,
I
right?
can see all 4. All 4, no problem.
Okay, Steve, let's hit on some of your surprises. Circle one that you got?
I think the big surprise is I am struggling to put Martin Truex Jr. into the playoffs.
Whoa.
And it comes down to the new car, the approach to the new car. I've watched a lot of testing. He hasn't been in the car testing. Kind of like every other thing I'll say, I hope he proves me wrong. I'm not trying to predict his future, but if you asked me a surprise, Martin Truex Jr., I don't think it's just a guarantee, punch your ticket, he's into the champion or into the 16 drivers. I think there's a lot of youth in the sport that are going to be attacking, so he's my surprise pick.
But everybody has said that this car will do so well on road courses, and he's so good at road courses.
But is he good? Or is this car going to take away his whole advantage?
Yeah.
Was his advantage that whole 4-speed downshifting?
Was it the old car?
And I asked that question
Well, then you
a
can ask
little
that about
open-ended
Elliott.
because I don't know yet.
Right.
I will tell you at the Roval test, there were guys fast that I would not say are road course experts.
Huh. All right, so stay in your Joe Gibbs racing camp for a second. Do you have the rest of the 3?
I do. I have Hamlin, Busch, and Bell
Okay.
in. No Truex.
Joe Gibbs Racing, who you got?
I got all of it. Hang
He
on.
didn't divide his.
No, I didn't. I got into a list. I just started rolling. I think I got all of the JGR cars in.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. So you have Truex. You have
Yes,
all
he's
4?
right there. Yeah. Bell, Truex, Hamlin. Yeah, Busch.
Listen,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
going to build a cheat sheet, I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever cheated in school,
Yeah.
but you got to do a better job.
I gotta
of
be.
organizing.
I gotta be honest.
You gotta make sure. You gotta
I
get to the material quick.
barely made through high school. There's a reason why I went race cars.
All right.
So,
Well, I have Hamlin, Busch, and Truex. I unfortunately left Christopher Bell out, but don't count out the 20 of Christopher Bell. Sorry.
before we
ahead.
don't. Yeah. Hang on, because I wanted to make sure my dark horse got said. Okay, Corey LaJoie.
Oh,
Listen,
we're switching straight to the dark.
Yeah. I went to my
Steve
surprise.
might have a better one.
Oh well, you know.
Go ahead.
No, because to the same reason that he said, he's like, I'm having a hard time putting Truex in.
Yeah.
The same reason he said youth and he's it's a car.
Yeah.
Well, Corey has been one of the guys that's been most excited about the car, and he is useful and he's ready to
Corey
go.
wins in or points in?
I think he wins in. I think he wins the race.
I have another driver that I think could either point or win, and that's Justin Haley. I think he has exceeded expectations, especially on the plate tracks when it comes to Xfinity Series. And I just think, let's look out west, right? Here he is up front, running up front. Now, he had a little altercation with Larson, and I actually think that's going to be his biggest challenge is this is a name that the fans are going to have to get to know, and so aren't some of the veterans. And they're going to, not say excuse me on their way by. And I think
it's a little bit of this.
for sure, as it should be.
Yeah.
So how does he respond to that? Does he fight back? Does he kind of take his initiation, score the points? I think Justin Haley is a good addition to the playoffs.
All right, Mamba, coming to you for Team Penske. Who you got? Let's include Wood Brothers Racing on this one as well.
I got Blaney, Logano, and I have Burton. I have Cindric out, but I do have Burton on my list. It's a tough deal. I can't put them both in, I feel like. And knowing that there's some random winners, someone had to get bumped. I believe in Austin. I think road course racing is his jam. But I think Harrison showed a lot of grit at the Clash, so I'm going with Harrison.
Team Penske for me was pretty simple. I had Joey Logano in, I had Blaney in, and I swapped them. Just off Saturday performances, I put Cindric in and Burton out. Cindric being the champ, he gets the nod.
I have both of the rooks in, so you're welcome, Austin Cindric. I think you get a win on a road course. And Harrison Burton loved what the 21 did at the Clash, as Mamba said earlier. So I'm going with both of the Sunoco rookies. I'm also going with both of the old guys. I can call them this now, Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, because they're the old guys at Team Penske. Old, yeah.
Are they both
it's like
under
32
30?
Is Logano's age.
Okay.
They're old.
That stings a little.
I mean,
I turned 30 this year, and I'm feeling some type of way.
Let's talk about the team that everybody was talking about last season as well on the different scope of things. Stewart Haas, not necessarily the year they wanted. Who you got out of the SHR camp?
50%. I think that's pretty good, better than some expected. When I look at Stewart Haas Racing, I think Kevin Harvick and Chase Briscoe make the playoffs. Eric Almirola's had a great career, and he's on the send-off year. That could be emotional. And it took I don't want to say a surprise win, but a pretty shocking win at New Hampshire to get him in. Custer, jury's still out. I think he's talented, but they got to figure some sort of consistency out. But Briscoe and Harvick, I can get in the playoffs.
Those are my two.
Yeah, Steve's looking at my cheat sheet over here. Okay, I got Harvick, and I got Briscoe. I think Briscoe. I think he had one last year at Indy, and then they didn't make that one corner, and we kind of, what is it okay? Is it not okay? Whatever, he didn't win. I thought he had that one won. I think he's turning a corner. He won a lot of racing in Xfinity. I think he's ready to make that next step. Custer, he's trying to make that next step as well. Whether they get it all figured out or not is yet to be seen, but he does have a cup win under his belt, and he helped Harvick win at Indy. So he's been there and knows how to do it. And Harvick is they're gonna bounce back. They're not gonna stay that low for 2 seasons in a row. No way.
We'll see. All right, let's flip to some of the smaller teams. I'm looking at, I know Colleague Racing's been mentioned over here with Steve, but let's talk about 2311. That's a brand new one, Team Trackhouse. We got RCR still left. Who makes it out of this?
Well, I got a little sprinkle of all of them. So I have, let's see, 1 2311, Kurt Busch.
Same.
I have 1 Trackhouse, Ross Chastain, and I have 1 RCR and Tyler Reddick. I think that the struggle of a 2-car team is that it's hard to have 2 cars both make the playoffs. The good news is one of them makes it, and I think it's kind of one across the camp.
I had to leave somebody out, and I feel bad about it because I love the Trackhouse group. I love what they're building.
Listen,
but
you can't leave them out and then apologize.
I can. I did. I just did because I feel bad, but I left them out. I think they're gonna have a great year, but I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make it. I have Kurt Busch in. And I have Tyler Reddick in as far as RCR and 2311. Now, Bubba is obviously great on the super speedways, so don't count him out. Again, there's random winners and people break and fuel mileage and all this stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys make it either.
All right, well, that was fun because coming into the studio this morning, none of us had our 16. So now we have them. And Mamba apologized for not having people in there, but we'll work on it. All right, drive-through, rapid fire. We're going to keep this super rapid fire this season. So some of these, if you want to be one-word answers, yes, no, however you want to answer them. Mamba, let's start with you. Season prediction, Kyle Larson win total.
Oh, that's not a yes, no. You really faked me out.
It can be one word.
Win total. 6.
7.
Okay.
Look at that. He's a pro. I'm doing all right.
All right, next up. Does a driver that missed the playoffs last season make it this season?
Yes.
1,000%, yes.
You guys are way too easy. Who will win Sunoco Rookie of the Year?
Oh, look at him. I'm gonna go with Burton.
Okay.
I mean, it's a coin flip. Cindric or Burton are going to be great. I think Burton for consistency. The way the point system works, a little different. I'll give it to Burton, sure.
Championship 4, which will come way later in the season, but will there be a surprise in the Championship 4?
Yeah, because there always is. I feel like there's always that one person you're like, oh, how did they? Wow, they kind of came out of nowhere, and then everyone is rooting for like the rest of the field that isn't part, like the fans that don't like those 3 guys is always rooting for that one guy by himself. I think so.
I mean, define a surprise. I think there's going to be someone that's not the favorite, somebody that everybody's writing off, but nobody in the Championship 4 will be there with less than 2 wins. So it's going to be a driver who has won multiple times.
2 wins in the season or 2 wins in the playoffs?
2 wins in the season.
Okay.
1 to get in, 1 in the playoffs.
Interesting that all 4 of the best drivers, though, last year were the championship 4. And now, I'm just saying. Okay, will a winless driver make the playoffs? It did happen last season.
Absolutely. There won't be 16 winners.
Dang it, Steve.
All right, look, he's right. There's not going to be.
Okay, you guys.
There's not going to be 16 winners. If there is, wow, like that'll be highly, highly impressive. But I don't see that.
You hear that, Rick Allen? There won't be 16, because that's what I'm going to hear from race like 22 to like 30 in the booth is, will we get to 16? We won't.
Someone will be dominant at some point and win a bunch.
All right, last one. We've already talked about this organization, but does Stewart Haas return to victory lane this season?
Yes, with more than 1 car, for sure. At least 2 cars win out of the organization.
Music to their ears.
Yeah, I think they're going to have at least 3 or 4 wins, I think.
All right. This next part, not going to keep it short and sweet, but we are going to keep it simple because we're getting into something that is really taking off in the sports world, especially in the last year, 2 years. Backseat bookies is what we're calling this. Welcome to the gambling side. We're going to do some little money lines, some betting, but we're going to start this first episode off with just keeping it a little short and sweet. And we're really glad that we have Steve here because he's going to be the expert on this. We're going to do head-to-heads. These are just matchups, so lucky for us, we need no odds of winning. Mamba, we're in the clear here.
Good, because the only thing I know about betting is when Chase Briscoe helps me out and goes bets on penny slots.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we don't
Slots
have
are a good place to be.
We don't have Briscoe here to help us out. So this is strictly for the Daytona 500 coming up on Sunday. This one is tough for me, this first one. Denny Hamlin versus Joey Logano. Steve, walk us through how fans should view this matchup.
So the best thing about betting when it comes to NASCAR is you can kind of get as creative as you want. You can bet the winner like a horse race, which you're going to get odds, a multiplier on your money. I think, though, if you're a NASCAR fan and you want to try out betting, matchups are the best place because it's just head-to-head. One driver might pay a little more than the other. Don't worry about that. Don't get stuck in the details. Find your driver, bet him against one other driver. That way, when you're cheering on Sunday, you can cheer for one, and perhaps sometimes against the other one. So the first pick, right, is Hamlin versus Logano. I think this is a great pick. We have the race winner in the only Next Gen, and then we have Mr. Daytona 500. He's always up front, Denny Hamlin. So if you had to flip a coin between the two, where are you going to put your hard-earned money?
11. But if it's between the two and it's not winning the race, right? It's just
beating Joey
Logano. Joey's nice on speed days too, but I'm going with the 11 if it's just beating one car.
And I have to agree. I think I actually have neither of these guys winning the Daytona 500, but I do think Denny Hamlin, what I consider a good Daytona 500 is if you come off turn 4 in the picture frame, one of those front 6 or 7 cars, because we've seen anything happen, I believe Denny Hamlin is once again in that picture frame going through the trioval. Yeah.
All right, I also have DH over Joey Logano. So the 11 over the 22 for all 3 of us here in the back seat. Next up, this one's going to be a fun one because the end of 2021, these were besties by the end of the season. Chase Elliott versus Kevin Harvick. Steve?
I think it's Chase Elliott who's going to beat Kevin Harvick in the Daytona 500. It's a great matchup, but in the end, I think it comes down to numbers. Lots of Chevrolets down in Daytona, and I think they're going to work together. That's going to help Chase beat the Ford and Kevin Harvick.
We had a very merry offseason and a happy Christmas, did we not?
That's a great.
It was honestly, that was a great quote. It was a great tagline. I don't remember if there's shirts or whatever, but it's fantastic. I'm actually going the opposite. I'm going with the Ford of Kevin Harvick because the Ford seemed to team up better. The numbers aren't there for them, but they work as a team, as a manufacturer, better than anybody else in the field. So that's where I'm going.
Both drivers told me at Media Day that it was water under the bridge. So we will see. I am also going with the 9 of Chase Elliott. Next up, we have the 2 drivers. One unexpectedly already has a Daytona 500 win, and the other one unexpectedly already has a Cup Series win. So Justin Haley with Colleague Racing or Michael McDowell. Mamba, we're starting with you.
I'm going with Justin Haley. Justin Haley, he's won at Daytona before. Actually, right? Yeah, he won at Daytona before, and he's good on super speedways. We've seen it in Xfinity Series. He knows what he's doing. He's a rook-ish, like he's not a rookie, but he's, I don't know where to drop him in there. He has experience. He knows what he's doing. He'll be just fine.
I agree. I think Justin Haley over Michael McDowell, when I look at it, Haley runs so well at Daytona. He races for Colleague, who the trophy hunter, right? that is like the perfect big stage for everything that team is built around, which is they have a very vocal owner who likes to be out into the media. He's a great guy, super invested in the sport. I don't think any of us gave him probably the credit that he deserved to build to this point of now having a couple cup cars, so why not? And if anybody should go out and have a great day, I think it's Justin Haley and Colleague Racing. If Chris Rice won the Daytona 500, you'd have to shut your social media off till like April.
Oh,
it would be great.
my.
I've known him a long time. Well deserved. He's hardworking, so we'll see if he can pull it off.
Party would not stop until they got to Phoenix because like that's just how it was.
Yep.
Yeah, they also are known for taking risk and being very aggressive, those Colleague Racing boys. So wouldn't surprise me. I also have Justin Haley squeaking out over Michael McDowell. All right, last on these backseat bookies, we have Austin Dillon versus Bubba Wallace, the 3, and add 20 with the 23. Steve, who you got?
It's the Daytona 500. You can't not bet on the 3. I mean, listen, Austin Dillon has won the Daytona 500. I think Bubba Wallace is going to run very well. This bet to me is about survival, and I think it's as simple as I have Austin Dillon getting to the finish. Bubba Wallace, I'm not convinced on yet. I think he is a little more Hail Mary all year. I think he knows a win is very valuable. He learned it last year at Talladega. Not that we didn't know that, but we know what, like, that was in the playoffs. Now he would like to win his way into the playoffs. For that reason, I think Austin Dillon's just a little more comfortable, and that will get him to the finish line.
I'm going with Bubba. Look, Bubba, after Talladega, after I sat here and marinated on this question, he did something at Talladega that not a lot of people do. He went from pretty much the back to the front knowing he had this much time to get there. And he did it, and that should have a lot of confidence for him. He's ran well at Daytona before, finished third in the 43. I think he's going to be just fine, and I think he'll outduel the 3 straight up.
So listen, all matchups are supposed to be tough to pick, and I think we really need to start a scoreboard going.
Okay.
Like we can see how our season goes, because we have a couple different right now, and I feel like I'm going to flex a little bit on my man.
Producers, can we get the graphics of the scoreboard? We'll
Yeah,
make sure to
graphics.
put those
Graphics.
here, somewhere on there. I also have the 3 of Austin Dillon beating out Bubba Wallace in the Daytona 500. All right, it's time for I'm going to like stir the pot here because we're going to get some Daytona 500 picks. I keep up with these all season long just so I can just give a little face rub into who doesn't pick well. I'm 1 for 1 this season. I picked Joey Logano at the Clash. These two didn't have a chance to do it here in Studio 3, so technically I am still batting 0 against the 2 of them. But let's get your Daytona 500 picks. Steve, who you got?
William Byron.
Oh.
William Byron is going to win the Daytona 500. He got his big Cup Series win, put him on the map at Daytona. I think that he's the type of driver that's going to adapt. He's going to do whatever has to do down at Speed Weeks. I believe he's kind of not going to be around until the finish. I expect to see some tandem. I expect to see some Joey Logano. I expect to see some Denny Hamlin. But in the end, it's going to be the bow tie brigade, and I think it is William Byron that wins the most prestigious stock car race of the year.
Love that pick, Mamba. Top it. Can you?
Divided by 2. Give me the 12.
Oh.
Listen, give me the 12. The
Here we go
12.
again.
Listen, no, this is not here we go again.
Starting
Listen, I triple dog down on the 12 last year all season. And I believed in my pick, and he still had a great season. Won 3 races, by the way. Oh, one was at Daytona. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay, good, because he's going to do it again at the 500, and I think he's been there for the 500. He's been close, and he was pushing another Ford. Like, he's a teammate to the Ford. I think the Fords are going to put the 12 up front.
I'd like to badmouth this pick, but it's not bad. And I think that's actually where we're really lucky is what's 20, 25 drivers? I think there are 20 or 25 legitimate drivers that could win the 500.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing.
Throw a dart at the board. Also, if you're keeping up with Mamba's drink word of this season, it is triple dog down.
Triple dog down.
Triple dog down.
Triple dog.
I'm going, I
What's
guess
that?
3 words?
Yeah.
Do I drink 3 times?
Sure.
Okay. Checking.
It's Daytona week. Drink as much as you want. All right. I'm going with kind of the obvious, the 11, Denny Hamlin. Sorry.
Okay. I thought you were going to go with the 5 or the 9 because that's really
No,
where you were all
no,
last year.
no.
So that's
You know,
okay.
here's the best part. When you pick obvious and still lose, that's even better for
My
us.
guy.
Bye, guys. All right, race fans, we have finally made it to the Daytona 500. I know if you were like us, it's been a very long off season, and good thing we're getting started. It's going to be the Great American Race. The Daytona 500 is coming to you Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, and we'll see you right after the race in the backseat. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more clips, highlights, and full-length episodes. Also, check out NASCAR.com to stay up to date with all the latest news.